Honey, are you dressed yet?
Dressed for what?
It's the stay-at-home gala tonight, remember?
All right. Yes, I'll get dressed right now. Tap dancing monkey.
What? No.
Professor Cowboy.
No. No. Yes, perfect. That looks great.
Shall we go?
Yeah, let's go.
Hello, my name is David Gotts, and I'm the founder of International China Concern, and it's a great pleasure to welcome you to the very first ICC Black Tie and Fuzzy Slippers Ball. I'm coming to you all the way from Vancouver, Canada today, and it's such a pleasure to be with you here in the Netherlands. I hope that you have a wonderful evening. Now, I hope this evening that I am the only one wearing a black tie. As for you, I hope that you're at home, sitting in a comfy chair, wearing fuzzy slippers and relaxing. I wasn't sure how to say fuzzy slippers in Dutch, so I decided to look it up and to see what it was. So here is what I found. Fuzzy slippers in Dutch is donzige pantoffels. Now, I am sure that you are all laughing at my terrible Dutch pronunciation, but I hope it shows you that my heart is with you in the Netherlands and that it's so good to be with you tonight. Well, as for me, I want to relax too. So I am going to take off this black tie, open up my shirt a little bit, and yes, I will continue to keep on wearing my fuzzy slippers, but that feels a lot better. Now we can relax and enjoy our evening together. Well, we have both old friends watching with us, as well as new friends this evening. A warm welcome to those that are ICC's old friends. We so appreciate your support and your care. Tonight, those old friends, you're going to get to see the results of your generosity and prayers. You're going to get to see the lives that you've changed. And an especially warm welcome to our new friends. We hope as you hear about our work and learn about the children that we serve, that you will be able to see how you can change the lives of hundreds of young children that are still waiting to receive love. Now let me begin by telling you a little bit about the work of International China Concern. ICC began 27 years ago as a result of a visit that I took to a Chinese welfare centre or orphanage. On that visit, I met children who had a disability that had been abandoned by their parents. These children were not being adequately taken care of by the government welfare centre. In fact, the majority of them were severely malnourished, they were being neglected, and actually they were dying. The majority of them, around 90% of them, would die within a few short weeks. I knew I couldn't walk away from what I'd seen, and I felt God challenging me to get involved. And it was through that is how ICC began. And of course, even though things have changed tremendously in China over the last 27 years, the reality is that for these children and their families, progress is very, very slow, and it barely meets the basic requirements. The reality is that there are many children and families that are waiting for hope, waiting to experience joy. Over the last 27 years, ICC has worked to create a different future for vulnerable children in China. We want to give those children homes in which they can belong. We want to provide them with care that enables them to thrive. and we want to provide all the services that help them realise their full potential. Our vision for the children that ICC serves is that they may have full and meaningful lives, and that they would be fully included in Chinese society. When we in ICC do our work, we get to see children's lives transformed from sadness to joy. And that's our invitation to you tonight. Come and see what joy looks like. Well, we have an exciting programme ahead, and here is what is coming up. She's a world-class violinist and a mother raising a child with a disability. Ning Kam brings us an exclusive personal performance tonight. Meet the families who face extreme challenges with great love, hope, and incredible determination.
I was born with a disability. I was born missing the lower portion of my leg, and I wear a prosthetic.
It's a pleasure to also introduce to you an ICC ambassador who made a remarkable discovery during a visit to meet the children that ICC cares for. And success comes in many forms. You'll meet a young woman who has surpassed her own goals with the help of a global family.
感谢爱心勇士关注我们，感谢他们。
We are so excited to get to share the stories of the children that we serve with you. We also are going to tell you the stories of our staff and also too of those that stand with us and support the work of International China Concern. Well, the reason we're coming together tonight is to give you an opportunity to learn about ICC's work and the incredible children that we serve. We also want to give you an opportunity too to help us raise some funds that can bring hope and joy to children and families that are really waiting. I'd like to highlight two aspects of ICC's work that we hope to raise funds for this evening. The first aspect is the care of children that have experienced abandonment, children with disabilities. We consider these to be China's most vulnerable children. When ICC cares for these children, we become their family. We provide them with homes that they can live in. This is a place where they can belong. We also provide all their care, their education, their medical care, their physical and occupational therapy, and also vocational training. So tonight, some of the funds that we're raising will enable us to provide life skills and vocational training to youth with disabilities that have gone through that pain of abandonment, but can help them now get the jobs and the employment that they hope so they can live a life of independence and dignity. The second aspect of the work that we're highlighting for you tonight is ICC Family Partners Programme. You may have heard it called FPP. This programme is the first of its kind in China. Families that have a child with a disability often live under tremendous pressure. They often live desperate lives because there's little help and support for them. So tonight we're also raising funds so that we can expand our outreach to families and help even more families that have children with disabilities. In doing so, we not only transform the life of the child, but we also transform the whole family and even the whole community in which that family lives. Well, our goal this evening is to raise €4,000. That €4,000 is part of a global goal because over the next few weeks, these black tie fuzzy slippers balls will be taking place in different countries around the world. Altogether, we hope to raise €86,000 to help fund these two important aspects of our work. I hope by the end of our evening tonight, we'll have reached that goal for the Netherlands of €4,000. As a little encouragement for you, for every €40 that you donate tonight, you'll be entered into a raffle to win a prize. One of our donors has donated a beautiful lady's lambskin wallet, And this has been donated as a raffle prize. So if you donate €40 to ICC, you'll be entered once into the raffle. If you donate €80, then twice, and so on and so forth. Now, let's focus back on the amazing children that ICC serves. I'd like to introduce you to Wang Hua, who is a very special young woman that I first met 26 years ago. When I first visited the Changsha Welfare Centre, I saw many children that were dying. That was when I met Wang Hua. She was one of the first children that I met. She has cerebral palsy, and due to the neglect that she had received, she had simply lain on a bed for years with no one caring for her, receiving no support. Wang Hua's limbs were so stiff and twisted that she could barely move, and she couldn't speak, and she was wasting away. This is Wang Hua's story.
我从小，我就住在福利院。我在福利院的时候，我以为我自己活不了这么久。我很感谢阿姨帮助我这么多，也感谢老师，也教我很多知识，很感谢。然后我现在也交了很多朋友，特别是在例会的时候，我也看到他们很高兴。我现在的工作是把弟弟妹妹的成长报告输入在电脑上。我想到在办公室工作，我觉得我有能力打字，感谢爱心人士，也关注我们，感谢他们带给我们关爱。
Today, Wang Hua lives in one of ICC's community homes with several of the girls and has become their big sister. It's a loving family-style environment that allows her to serve as a role model for the younger girls. As you can see, Wang Hua is well loved by her sisters. There are more than enough hugs to go around in Wang Hua's family. As I see this, I'm struck by the incredible contrast between the Wang Hua that I met back in the welfare centre in 1994 and the confident young woman that Wang Hua is today. The long-held dream of working in an office has now been achieved. Wang Hua recently joined the staff of our Family Partners programme in Changsha. Within a few short weeks, Wang Hua was helping launch a new enrichment programme for children with disabilities, passing on the blessing that she has received to others. The Family Partners programme team love Wang Hua's infectious enthusiasm. She is a valued member of the team and is a real blessing to parents and children who visit our programme. They can see what is possible with faith and determination.
我每天都开心，感谢你们带来喜乐，谢谢，感谢 APP， 我永远爱你。
I love that through the generosity of people like you, we've been able to give Wang Hua not only the opportunity to live, but also to be loved and to learn and to develop her physical abilities, and now to have the dignity and the independence of being able to realise her dream and get a job working in an office. For me, having known Wang Hua for 26 years, this is what joy looks like. It's a great pleasure now to introduce to you Peter Mays, the CEO of International China Concern. Peter has led the work of ICC since April 2017. Under his leadership, the work of ICC continues to expand and grow, leading us into new areas of work. So would you join me in welcoming live from Hong Kong, Peter Mays. Peter, welcome to the Black Tie and Fuzzy Slippers Ball. I know that it is very early in the, or well, it's the early hours of the morning for you now. What time is it there?
I think it's around 3 o'clock. I don't know if it's early in the morning or late at night, but I do know I've got my fuzzy slippers.
Fantastic.
So I'm ready for anything.
Brilliant. Those are really, really impressive fuzzy slippers, Peter.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Peter, I know tonight we're going to hear a lot about the opportunities that ICC has, but I also know that there are many challenges. And of course, especially over the last few months, we've all watched as COVID-19 has first of all impacted China, and then it's impacted the whole world. Can you share with us a little bit about how COVID-19 specifically has impacted the work of ICC?
Well, I'm pleased to say, first of all, that all of the young people that we work with are safe, and
Great.
so are all of the caregivers. So a lot of effort and work has gone into making sure that they're safe. But you can imagine it is a big effort. Back in January and February, when the virus first popped up, we had to take a lot of very extreme measures to make sure that everyone was safe. And that required a lot of care and a lot of people focusing just on staying in one place. We had what's called a lockdown, and that kept the kids safe, but it also put a lot of pressure on the people who care for them.
Yeah, I know it's very challenging. Now, am I right in thinking, Peter, that some of our staff, both international and our local Chinese staff, were locked in a project for 45 days without a break?
No, you're not wrong. Here's the deal. In Hengyang, which is our largest center, the government said either you're in or you're out. You have to make a decision right now.
Wow.
And people with families were saying, wait a minute, I love the kids and I want to be with them, but if I go into lockdown, then I can't go see my families. So they had a very difficult choice to make, but because of their love and their commitment, they decided to stay inside. And as you mentioned, they didn't know when they were going to come out.
Wow.
No one had told them when this is going to end. So they were committed, and they stayed in for 45 days or longer, and they were just fantastic.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, Peter, I know that we have a video that we're going to show to the people who are watching tonight, and we've called it Behind the Curtain, because this video actually takes us behind the curtain into that lockdown situation. And we actually get to see some of the heroes of the lockdown themselves and hear a little bit about what their experience has been as they seek to keep our children safe. Let's watch that video now.
平常我们工作在社区，现在因为孩子们都要在一起，都来到这中心这里，我们也在这边照顾这边的孩子，所以我们也尽心尽力了，为这边的孩子。
有点累，还是比较辛苦，但是我们大家都能坚持，团队都很
坚持，
都很坚持，都很合作的。
那困难就是因为这1个月在这里经历了好多的事情，我们4个人在这里同甘共苦，吃饭的人比以前也多了那么多。找呀找到一个好朋友。
我们在封闭在这里也有1个多月了，时间也过得很快，很想回家了，去看看老公，看看孩子怎么样了。但是呢，有时觉得这里孩子呢，他们同样的也需要关怀。
但是现在来了1个多月了，觉得个把月了，所以跟这些孩子也接触了，也了解孩子的那些生活习惯啊，现在稍微要好一些。但是再困难，我们还是会坚持。
那肯定啦，想了回不了嘛，那想了也回不了啊，那这是我们的工作，必须要这样子啊。我们的梦想就是说，加油努力。
现在我们出来了，儿子啊、老公啊，他们不会煮吃，现在都坚持，他们都是学着煮吃了，
也会做吃了，
也会做吃的啦。不搞卫生，现在也搞卫生啦，要做家务了，哎呀，还是也给他们锻炼出来那个了。
我也觉得也蛮好的机会。
就是
对，
也是希望他们会继续。
因为之前受疫情的影响，孩子们都整天都在家里面都没有出来。然后呢，昨天因为天气很好，孩子们也出来了，然后艾丽啊、彭老师他们都带孩子们出来做一些互动，做圆圈活动，孩子们个个都兴奋得不得了啊！这他们很开心。我也觉得我也出来了，感觉一样，我就觉得好像久违的阳光，一种感觉很温暖的感觉。 孩子们开心，我们也开心。
老鼠奶奶爱融融。
Peter, it's great to see the commitment of ICC staff and how they've been
They're
willing
amazing.
to. Yeah, it's amazing. Really, really amazing. And just the willingness to be separated from their families. I'm not sure that I would have found it easy to be separated from my wife and son for 45 days. What struck you about that video? I know there was one thing that made me laugh. The caregivers joking about their husbands finally having to learn how to do housework and cook. Any things from you that put a smile on your face?
Well, there are several silver linings like that. One of the things to let the audience know is that instead of just saying, well, we have to sit here and care for the kids in lockdown, the caregivers were thinking of new and innovative ways to engage with them. They came up with new games. They came up with new ways of working with them on special education. So they weren't just sitting around, but they were focusing on helping the kids have an even better life.
That's fantastic. Well, Peter, thank you so much for joining us in the middle of your night, all the way live from Hong Kong. Great to have you with us. We really appreciate the work that you do. It's tremendous. You have led the work of ICC in these last few years, and it's been wonderful to see it grow. Have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, I'd like to introduce you to another very special ICC staff member. This staff member has spent the last 15 years of her life sharing her skills as a physiotherapist with the children that ICC serves. She's an amazing lady to come all the way from England and to give herself in order to serve children in China is just quite an incredible thing. So, would you please join me in welcoming Alison Kennedy?
Hi everyone. Good morning.
Hi, Alison.
Good evening.
Oh, now we can see you. We couldn't see you. We could hear you, but we couldn't see you. But now we have you, which is brilliant. There you are. That's great. Well, it's great to have you with us for the Black Tie and Fuzzy Slippers Ball. People in the Netherlands are watching you right now. So I have to ask the question, are you wearing your fuzzy slippers?
Too hot for fuzzy slippers, but I have got my flowery pajamas on.
Very nice. I love it. You didn't have to get out of your pajamas to go to a ball. It's kind of like Cinderella, but without the transformation. Well, Alison, there are lots of people across the Netherlands watching tonight who probably have never met you or heard of who you are. Just give us a little introduction of yourself.
I'm Alison from England. I trained as a physiotherapist. Yeah, I've been here in China much longer than I expected or planned.
Well, tell us a little bit about how you came to China, Alison.
I had a friend who came out to visit ICC's Changsha project back in 2000, I think, and the long story short, he came back and said, oh, they're desperate for therapists out there, and yeah, a few years later I got round to saying, well, I could go for a month. Challenged myself really to go for 3 months, and then somebody else said, oh, really, you should go for 6 as a professional, and yeah, that was back in 2004, so
Fantastic.
The rest is history.
Well, I know that you've been an incredible blessing to ICC, but more importantly, of course, to the children that we serve in China. Now, you specifically work with children that have disabilities that have experienced abandonment. So I know the work you do is work as a physiotherapist, but I know it's also so much more than that for you. Give me a bit of a sense of what perhaps a day looks like for you, or maybe, yeah, just what's your experience like?
Yeah, I love my job. It's an incredible privilege. I could start my day singing in a panda suit, finish my day splashing with the kids in a swimming pool, and somewhere in the middle there I'm bolting things to wheelchairs or attending one of the birthday parties, which when there's 150 kids in the centre, they happen pretty frequently. It doesn't sound like much work, but yeah, there's lots of challenges and joys all wrapped up in there. But Absolutely. Within it all, we seek the opportunity to, yeah, affirm the kids their value. I don't want them to feel like, oh, they're the needy ones, because they have loads to give themselves. So look for opportunities to thank them for who they are and what they bring to me, which is genuinely a huge amount.
Fantastic. That's great. And of course, I know that you also run the therapy and that you're involved in training local Chinese staff to become therapy assistants, which is also amazing. Now, something that most people who are watching tonight would not know about you is that you're also a singer-songwriter and that you've written a number of songs over the years. In fact, you have 2 CDs. And you've written songs for ICC events. And you've specifically written a song this evening for the Black Tie Fuzzy Slippers Ball. Can you tell us a little bit about that song and what it is that you're wanting to convey through it?
Well, the song's called Enough for Today. Jesus said in Matthew's Gospel that tomorrow has enough worries of its own, and during these times when there's plenty to worry about, I wanted to write something that encouraged us all to enjoy the moments of today. So there's enough joy for today, not just enough worries. So I hope that as people listen and watch, that they can kind of get lost in this present moment where the joy is.
Well, Alison, thank you so much for the gift of this song, and also too for the work that you do with the children. Hang around, we're going to come back to you after the song. But ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure and privilege that we get to share to you today Alison's song, Enough for Today.
There's enough for today. Let's leave tomorrow. Joy comes and fear takes flight. There is much to say about the plans of tomorrow, but the gift is in today. So let's play. Leave tomorrow there to wait. Underneath this sky unfolds a story where I am known by name. And in the ifs and whys, I know you're holding enough for us today. So let's play. We can leave tomorrow there to wait. So let's play. We can leave tomorrow there to wait. So let's play. We can leave tomorrow there to wait. So let's play. There's enough for us today. So let's live today. Leave tomorrow. Let joy put fears to flight. Love is here to stay. I won't leave tomorrow. So let's enjoy today. So let's play. We can leave tomorrow there to wait. So let's play. We can leave tomorrow there to wait. Take my hand and know that this is a sacred moment. Nothing ordinary. Oh, there's magic in your face. Healing in this space. So let's play. Leave tomorrow there to wait. Let's play. There's enough for us today.
What a great song, Alison. Thank you so much for writing that and for joining us this evening. It's been really lovely to have you with us. Now you can climb back into bed and pull up the sheets and go back to sleep.
It's been a privilege.
All right, take care. Bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's so easy to get caught up in worry, especially in a time like this. But it's good to remember, isn't it, that reminder that Alison has given us, that we shouldn't worry about tomorrow because we trust in Jesus. And therefore we can have a confidence that he is with us and he will provide all that we need for today. Well, over the years, ICC has been blessed to have a number of ambassadors that represent the work that we do. One of those ambassadors is Andrea Holmes. Andrea has an amazing story, a little of which we want to share with you this evening. Meet Andrea Holmes.
Hello, my name is Andrea Holmes. I'm a Canadian Paralympian and ambassador to ICC since 2010. It was back in 2010 that I learned about the important work that the ICC is doing in China for the abandoned disabled children. I actually got the opportunity to visit the care facilities in China and see the love and hope and opportunity that these children are being given, which otherwise they would be in a state-run orphanage, and it was quiet and dark and cold and a horrible place to live. I feel so deeply connected to ICC because I am half Chinese and I was born with a disability. I was born missing the lower portion of my leg and I wear a prosthetic to function in daily life. My goal was to represent Canada in the 2004 Paralympic Games in long jump, and I was actually able to realize that goal. Being born in Canada has a lot of privilege, and being able to strive for such ambitious goals is something I feel so grateful for. These children in China, their goals may be much simpler, to just go to school and feel loved. I think in a time of COVID, it doesn't matter if your family is blood or your family is just love and what you make it to be. Feeling connection and feeling close to people is what matters the most. The work that ICC is doing is truly changing the lives of children in China. And I implore you to dig deep and give generously tonight, because the work that the ICC is doing for these abandoned disabled children is changing lives. And more importantly, now than ever, we can give love, hope, and opportunity to the children of China. Thank you very much.
I'm sure that you would agree with me that Andrea is a remarkable woman. She's faced incredible challenges, and yet she's been able to overcome them because she's had the support of her family and she's had a community that has come around her. Well, Andrea asked you to give generously tonight. If you want to make a donation tonight, there are a couple of options. First of all, you can wait until the end of our time, and there will be a response time, a time when you can think about all that you've heard and decide if you want to make that kind of donation. Or alternatively, you can take a look at the link that's on the screen now. That link says www.givenl.live. If you go to that link, you can make a donation now using Tikkie Giving directly to ICC in the Netherlands. You'll also see that there is a QR code on the screen. You can take out your cell phone, put it in camera mode, and simply scan that QR code, and that will also take you to the donation page. That way, you don't even have to type anything in on your phone or on your computer. So those are two ways for you to give, and we're going to be showing you this link as we go through our evening, together. Well, whether you give a little or whether you give a lot tonight, every cent that you give will help transform the lives of children and help those that are waiting to receive the care and the help that they need. Well, our next guest this evening is somebody who I met many years ago. Kyla Alexander first came to China on an ICC team 21 years ago, and she is still serving with ICC, now as our ICC China Operations Director. Will you join me in welcoming live from Henyang, China, Kyla Alexander? Hi, Kyla.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? Welcome to the Black Tie Fuzzy Slippers Ball. Are you wearing your fuzzy slippers?
Actually, no, because it's really quite warm here, but yeah, here's our panda here prepared with his slippers on. Representing us in his slippers. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, people who maybe don't know, Henyang is a very hot city in China. So what would be the average temperature right now during the day?
Oh, we can get up to 40, but we're probably in the mid-30s most days.
Wow,
Yeah.
so that's between 30 to 40 degrees Celsius. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Well, Kyla,
Yeah.
I have known you for many, many years, both as a friend and, of course, as a colleague. And there are obviously many people watching tonight who've never even met you. Can you please begin sharing a little bit with us about how you got involved in the work of ICC?
Yeah, so it was back in 1999, and a friend, a work colleague, invited me on a short-term team with ICC. And originally I said no, and that was because I had a sense of a call from God to go and help people in another country, probably China. And so I said no, but God really revealed to me in many ways that I should go on this team, and so I did. And during the team, what I saw broke open my heart, and I just made a decision during that team, during those 2 weeks, to come back to China. So I went back to Australia and I packed up all my stuff and sorted my life out and came back to China 14 months later.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I know over the last 21 years or so, you've worked hands-on with, of course, many, many of the children that we care for. And in fact, you and your team pioneered our project in the city of Henyang. And that is truly a remarkable place of joy. Every time I visit, I get so impacted by the joy that is coming from all of the children there. But I would love you to share with those that are watching a little bit about the vision that ICC has for the children that we care for.
Yeah, so our vision is that through love, hope and opportunity, that they would grow towards their God-given potential. We love to see the kids in relationship, being able to give love and to receive love. And also that they receive the necessary supports like special education and therapy so that they can flourish, so that they can reach their potential, and so that they can know how worthy they are.
Brilliant. That's amazing. That's an incredible vision. And I think, you know, whilst we give all of this practical support, isn't it most important that a child knows that they're loved and cared for and that they belong?
Yes.
I think every one of us, every child, no matter whether they're in the Netherlands, whether they're in Canada or in Henyang, China, needs to know that. Well, I know that there, of course, are many hundreds of thousands of children in welfare centres across China that are not receiving the kind of care that the children we work with receive. Tell me a little bit about what it's like for those children that aren't receiving the care and support that they need.
So when a child is found, they're sent to a government welfare centre, and the situation in those centres is different depending on the resources and how each city is. And the leadership, but as a general rule, these children come into a place that's very, very institutional, and no one knows their name, no one knows their special needs. They've usually got very, very high special needs. No one knows what they like to eat. Nobody knows how they need, what special supports they need to eat. So they're given a bed and they're given food, but very, very little else. And so for a lot of the children, because of their special needs, that's not enough. And they struggle. Many of them get malnutrition. Some of them will pass away from that. And some of them will just live a very, very lonely existence where they're not getting their needs met. And we do see that in the centres.
Yeah, and I know, of course, for many people watching who've never been to China, it's probably really, really hard to imagine that children live in those circumstances. And of course, one of the ways that we can help people understand that is to show them the journey that a child goes on. And I know that we have a video that we're going to show right now that actually shows some of the children that just came to us 6 months ago. So we took in 18 new children that came from welfare centres where the care was not as it ought to be. And this video shows those children moving from when they first arrived to what they look like after 6 months being in ICC's care. So let's take a look at that video now. Wow, that really does show such an incredible transformation that takes place in such a really short period of time. And of course, there are tens of thousands of children that are still waiting to kind of go on that journey of transformation. Kyla, I know that you get to see lots of joy in the midst of the challenging work that you do each day. Maybe just share with us one story of a child and how that demonstrates what joy looks like for you.
We've got a little girl in our care in Hanyang, in our Hanyang Centre, and her name is Lula, which means joy. And when she came to us, she was 2. And she was very, very malnourished. She had a very extended belly, and her little arms used to hang like sticks at her side. And she interacted with her eyes, but little else. But we could see that she was really understanding us and really kind of interacting with us. The carers talk about embracing her and loving her when she arrived, and just understanding her needs and just serving her and nurturing her, and she flourished. She'd completely changed, not quite as quickly as those children. It took a bit longer. But, you know, by the time she was 3, she'd started to verbalize a little bit. And by the time she was 4, she started to take a few steps with support. And just 2 months ago, she started to feed herself independently. But I think the great thing about Lula is that she's just so rambunctious and joyful, and just fills the room with joy. She loves to imitate other people, but that's her very favorite thing. But she's just so much fun, and she gives us joy every single day. And the fact that she's transformed so much from a little child that we didn't even know would survive to this little girl that's running around kind of making everybody happy she just brings us so much joy every day.
That's a wonderful story. The story of Lula going from this baby who really was desperately in need of care to now this rambunctious girl. Thank you for sharing that with us. Well, Kyla, I know in ICC we're always wanting to push forward with our work, and we're always wanting to create more opportunities that build joy in the lives of children. Maybe tell us quickly about one initiative that we've got coming up that is going to build joy into the lives of the children that we serve.
Yeah, so we've got a new project that's going to be at the Lighthouse, which for those who've been around ICC for a while, they know that's a building that we have in Changsha. We're renovating that for this new project, and this new project is going to provide vocational and life skills training for young people with disabilities. And so they're children from orphan care or from families, and it's going to give them opportunities in the workplace and in their own communities.
Fantastic. That's great, Kyla. Now, of course, there are people in the Netherlands that are watching this. Is there a few words that you'd like to speak directly to them?
Yeah, I want to just say thank you so much. Many of you I know, and some of you are new to the family, but thank you for your support for so many years. I have the privilege of seeing the changes firsthand every day, and what you give and what you do makes a difference. It really does make a difference here. So thank you for partnering with us. Thank you for you make sacrifices, I know, for these kids, and we're really grateful for that. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Kyla, so much for joining us. And I know somebody just asked on the live stream what the donation link is. We're going to be putting that donation link up for you again in just a moment. The transformation that Kyla has shared with us is incredible, but we've said there are many children that really need love, care, and that transformation that ICC Works brings. So we are asking you to make donations tonight in support of those children that we serve, and the many, many more who need that. So here is that donation link now. So you can go to www.givenl.live, okay, www.givenl.live, or you can simply take out your cell phone, open up the camera, scan the QR code, and that will take you to the direct giving page, and you can give directly to ICC there in the Netherlands. Okay, our second ICC ambassador is used to playing to concert halls that are packed with thousands of people. But she also has a very personal connection to the work that ICC does. It's my pleasure to welcome our next ICC ambassador moment, and that is with Miss Ning Kam.
Hello, my name is Ning Kam, and I am a violinist as well as the professor of music at the Royal Conservatory of Brussels and at the Yehudi Menuhin School in the UK. I am also an International China Concern Ambassador since 2012. Back in 2012, I went to visit to see firsthand the work that ICC was doing in Hengyang, China. It was astonishing and overwhelming, to say the least, to see the challenges that the children there had to face with issues of abandonment, disability, and a lack of support. And it was incredible to see what ICC was doing with them. I believe that children are made in the image of God, and that every child's life is precious. 4 years ago, I had my second son, Nathan, and after he was born, we found out that Nathan has Down syndrome. Now, here in the UK, Nathan has the support of a loving family, an extended loving family, as well as an amazing health system that the UK provides for children with Down syndrome. To think that if he had been born in China, it would have been a very, very different story. And it really made us realize how much more we have to be doing for the families in China and for ICC to support children such as Nathan. So, with that in mind, I would like to ask you to donate to the work of ICC by clicking on the link below. And as you're doing so, I would like to play you a little something so that you can enjoy. And can I play you a little something, Nathan? Yeah. Okay.
Ning Kam and her husband are raising their family surrounded by a community of people and in a system in the United Kingdom where they get the support that they need. Families all across the nation of China that have a child with a disability don't have access to those kind of supports, and they often find themselves struggling and desperate and isolated. So 12 years ago, ICC began a new program called the Family Partners Program, or FPP. We established that program to assist these kinds of families that have a child with a disability. We provide them with therapy, special education, and the key supports that help keep that family together. In this next video, you'll meet the Family Partners Program team and see something of the amazing work that they're doing.
Every day, Tanjir Guo's father carries him downstairs from their home on the 6th floor of a Changsha apartment building, down to the busy street where Mr. Tan has a little shop. Tanjir Guo is 16 years old. He has cerebral palsy that limits his ability to move and communicate. Caring for their son has been extremely challenging for the Tans.
现在都还马马虎虎，就是怕以后啊，他随着他年龄的增大了，他的身体越来越不好。
The Tans are just one of more than 100 families that the Family Partners Program is helping right now.
Some families include parents struggling to make ends meet while they care for a child with a severe disability. In other families, grandparents are doing their best to care for a child after the parents have abandoned their responsibility. People like Mrs. Ha, who was determined to care for her granddaughter Lala when no one else would.
This child was so miserable, but she's still a precious life. You couldn't just give her up. So I didn't care what others said. I never gave up.
Jiajia's parents aren't around either, so his 70-year-old grandparents do their best to care for him and his 5-year-old sister.
我们现在好苦好苦，我想起来呢，都不知道，有时候也是这样的。我们刚想起来好心寒的，就是说现在居区都没有，到外面租房子住。
Each day, Jiajia's grandmother takes him to the FPP service center where he receives special education and one-on-one therapy. The journey is 2 hours each way, but it's worth it because the results are significant. Whether providing programs and classes in our service center or visiting families in their homes, FPP is giving life-changing tools and support to people who desperately need it. David Bondi and his team have been working with Zhiguo on a regular basis. They helped him get a wheelchair, and therapists have trained his parents on ways to keep their son in good health. The young man now has the potential to start using computers to communicate and explore his world.
Families with disabilities all across the nation of China face the same kind of challenges as the families you've just seen in this video. I'd like to introduce to you now David Bondi. David is the director of ICC's Family Partners Programme, and he's dedicated his life to helping families such as the ones that you've just seen in this video. Will you please join me in welcoming David? Hi David, welcome to the Black Tie and Fuzzy Slippers Ball. David, in the video that we just saw, we saw families going through some very, very real struggles and challenges. Can you share with us a little bit about the vision that you have for these families and specifically for the Family Partners Programme?
Well, David, quite simply, for FPP, our vision is that there would be hope in the hearts of every Chinese family that's raising a child with a disability, because for many of these families, it's just not there.
Yeah, and I know that these families, they really don't have any kinds of support at all, and that sometimes the level of struggle and desperation actually causes families to fall apart. Tell me a little bit more about what families experience. What's it like for a family that has a child with a disability when they don't have any kind of support system like the Family Partners Programme?
Yes, they're very, very isolated. And frankly, it's the opposite of what we want to see. There's no hope for them. The past is painful because that's where the disability came from. The present is difficult and the future is very bleak. There's really no hope that tomorrow is going to be any different than today for these families.
Yeah, and I know in the work that you do, obviously you're going into homes, you're meeting with families all the time, you're going in with your FPP teams, the Family Partner Programme teams, which perhaps you can tell us a little bit about. Tell us about those teams, tell us about the impact that they have, and maybe share with us some stories of families that you have seen go through some transformation through the work that the Family Partners Programme does.
Sure. So currently we have two what we call cross-care teams. There's a special educator, a therapist, and a social worker on each team. They go into each family's home and meet with the family, figure out what the needs are, and they make a plan for helping them make measurable progress toward a better future. And that makes a huge difference. So there's a few examples I wanted to share this evening. First of all, we've got Lila and her grandmother, Mrs. He, and Lila was abandoned at the welfare center by her parents because she had too many medical challenges. She has cerebral palsy, but grandma went to the orphanage, got her out and said, I'm going to raise this girl as my own on 600 RMB a month, and she's done it. And Lila is a bright and shiny 12-year-old with grandma by her side. It's a wonderful story. Dong Dong has got Down syndrome, and he's the third child of believing parents, but the dad just said, I can't do it. I want you to get rid of him. And the mom said, no, I'm not going to let it
哇，
go.
普通好
So
棒
we've just seen
不
so
需要
much
任何的
life
帮
change in
忙
just a short time.
自
With
己
Dong
可以
Dong
单
incredible
独的夹蜜
progress.
蜂。
And
好，再来
the，lights
加油
come on in mom, and then the little sisters getting
用力
involved in his
啊
education as well.
夹
Oh, that's great.
夹
Yeah, the third story is very dramatic. You've got a mom who has a little 5-year-old who, as best we can tell, was through a bad immunization that caused him to become disabled. Then they had corrective surgery that actually made it worse to where he couldn't walk. He's got an older brother who's 12 with Asperger's. The dad couldn't cope, divorced the mom, and then within a year, both grandparents passed away. So she was alone in the world when we came upon her, and there were many tears shed in the initial assessment. But in just 6 to 8 months, we've seen dramatic change. The lights come on for her. Fan's walking. She was able to actually give his walker to another family because she doesn't need it anymore. I mean, it's just amazing things are happening, and it's all because of our dedicated professionals on the ground.
David, I just love hearing these stories. You know, when you hear stories of kids and families now being transformed through the work that Family Partners Program is doing, it's super encouraging. And I know that this is a really important part of ICC's work. We have a strong vision to grow this part of our work. Tell us a little bit about some of the new initiatives they're going to be rolling out over the coming months.
Well, we're currently serving 190 plus families with our program. We've got a list from the local government for 200 more families. In addition, we've got plans to open up 2 new locations within the next 6 to 12 months, one in another city. We'd like to add 2 to 3 teams within the next 6 months. So we've got ambitious plans, and we've got a lot of momentum. The government's behind us, and we just need partners like the people that are going to be viewing this meeting that you've put together, David.
So really what you're saying is that we have the opportunity to impact hundreds and hundreds more families, to bring them that sense of hope, to bring them a sense of practical support, and for them to really thrive instead of just surviving. And that really is absolutely amazing. David, there are a lot of people watching this event tonight, and I'm sure they've been super interested to hear what you've had to share. Are there any words that you'd specifically like to say to them?
Well, first of all, I'd just like to say thank you for your partnership up to this point. It's essential. And I just want you to know that there's a golden opportunity just waiting for us to invest in. We've got staff, we've got favor, we've got families, and we've got unlimited opportunity to change lives, because our vision is much, much bigger than just one location. Our vision's national. We want to see every Chinese family with hope in their hearts, and you can be the change agent tonight.
Wow, as the founder of ICC, you know, these are the kind of dreams that I carried in my heart when I first began ICC 27 years ago, not just for the children of welfare centers, but for families to be strong and to be healthy, despite them having to deal with sometimes very challenging situations. And David, it's a privilege to get to partner with you as you serve in ICC so that we can see those visions become reality. Thanks so much, David, for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thanks, David, for being with us too. It's great to be able to see the amazing work that the Family Partners Program is doing. It's bringing real change for families that are in desperate need of support. Well, you've heard David say that there are thousands of families that are waiting for a lifeline. From right where you are tonight, in your living room, on your sofa, in your office, no matter where you are, you can be a person to give that lifeline. You can help a family in need through your generous financial support. Now, we have many people all around the world that support the work of ICC, and I want to share a partner moment with you. I want to introduce to you Carrie Leoganda. Carrie is a businesswoman that I met many, many years ago, and she's become an incredible supporter of ICC.
Hi, I'm Carrie Leoganda. I own a financial planning firm here in Richmond, Canada. How I get in touch with ICC? Actually, it was many years ago when my daughter Natalie finished her high school, actually finished university. She requested a graduation trip to China to visit ICC. By that time, I have no idea what exactly ICC had been doing in China. When she came back, I just asked her, how was the trip? And then she told me, Mom is very, very meaningful. I encourage you, if you want to know more about ICC, you and Dad have to go there yourself. So me and my husband Gideon decided to go there. The rest is history. When we went there, we were so touched by the work and the ministry that ICC have been doing there. They were taking care of those special needs children. And I know that it's never easy to take care of those children. Why? Because I have a special needs child. Natalie was actually born without hearing and have some vision impairment. The fact that she can grow now and being a mother of two is just amazing. But it takes a village. It takes many hard work from people that are surround her to love her and to provide her opportunities. And that's exactly what ICC has been doing in China. So from then onwards, we start to support ICC. And also not only that we support ICC, that we encourage our friends and encourage our relatives to continue to help supporting them. Because this is such a wonderful ministry, and everybody who has been contributing to this good cause, all are very being encouraged by them. So tonight, I encourage you to click on the link below there and give generously to support this wonderful ministry. Thank you.
Again, we're so grateful for all of you that support the work of ICC. Actually, when you get involved through your giving, it isn't just our work anymore. It actually becomes the work that you're doing too, because you are the ones making a difference. Well, we're almost coming to the end of our black tie and fuzzy slippers ball. I really hope that all that you've seen and all that you've heard tonight has touched your heart, and that you will consider giving generously so that we can provide life skills and vocational training to youth that have gone through that experience of abandonment and have disabilities, as well as helping us expand the work we do with our Family Partners Programme so that we can help and support even more families that are so desperately in need. Well, we're going to come towards the end of our ball now, and we're going to listen to another song and take some time to reflect on all we've seen and on all we've heard. And you can consider making a donation as a sign of partnership with ICC and a sign that you want to stand with these children and families that are in desperate need in China. The song that you're about to hear was also written by Alison Kennedy a few years ago. The name of this song is Your Love Brings Life. So tonight, your response isn't just about being generous with money. It's about expressing love. It's about letting the love that you have bring life to vulnerable children in China. Once again, the giving link and the QR code are on the screen, and they will stay on the screen right through the song. And after this song, we're going to check in and see how much money we have raised together tonight. I remember walking into this welfare centre. I'd never been into a welfare centre in China before. I expected to hear the sounds of children laughing and playing. And yet, what I found was children making no sound. There was no laughter, and what's more, there were no tears and no crying. Just children completely closed off to the world because of how they were suffering.
Eyes that couldn't see any other way. Light that wouldn't leave in the darkest days. Winter waking into spring. Hope unfurling, new dreams awakening. Your love brings life, held with dignity and offered freely. Your love brings life abundantly.
thank you so much for your generosity tonight. As we close, I'd like to welcome Rens Bravenboer, the ICC Netherlands National Office Director. Change scene.
Hi, David.
Hi, Rens.
Hi.
Nice to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm enjoying it. Thank
Great,
you.
good. Well, it's so great to have you with us this evening. Of course, there are many people who may not have had the chance to meet you yet. But Rens, tell us a little bit about how you got involved with ICC and how long you've been involved with ICC.
Well, I've been involved since 2016, so only a few years, not as long as Kyla and Alison, for example. But I've started as a volunteer, and then later I became a board member. And now I've become the first national director of the Netherlands, which is a great honor and a great pleasure.
Well, thank you. And it's a great honor and pleasure as well for us to have you serving in that capacity. Thanks for being willing to do that, because I know it's because you have a love and a passion for the children of China too. Rens, tell us a little bit about your hope for this event tonight.
Well, my hope basically is that people feel inspired, that they are inspired by the stories they see, they experience, to see the children develop, and to see the love not only from the carers to the children, but also the other way around.
Right.
And yeah, so I just hope they feel inspired and see what love can do.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you. Well, great. Well, Rens, I believe that you have the total of what we've been able to raise so far this evening. So can you share that with us?
Yes, it's my pleasure. We have raised a total until now of €2,543.
That's fantastic.
Which is great. And I want to add that there will also be a lot of people viewing this event afterwards. So people who are on holiday or just couldn't be there this evening, they will be here later. And I want to encourage them as well to donate generously. And thank you to everyone who has donated. It's amazing to see this amount of €2,543. It's great.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Rens, for sharing that with us. And thank you for being with us this evening. I hope you've enjoyed the event. I hope everybody in the Netherlands has enjoyed the event. And I'll say goodbye to you now, and then we're just going to close up over the next minute or so.
Thank you, David. Bye, everyone.
I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight for the first ICC Netherlands Black Tie and Fuzzy Slippers Ball. So we've raised €2,543. We had a goal of 4,000, which means that we're well over halfway towards reaching our goal. I want to give an enormous thank you to each and every one of you that have donated tonight. As Ren said, I know that we will see more donations come in as other people across the Netherlands watch the recording of this event. The links to donate will remain open for the next few weeks. And so please share on social media. You'll be able to share the link to this event with your friends and your family. Encourage them to watch. Encourage them to make a donation. Well, all that is left for me to do is to thank you once again for joining us for the Black Tie and Fuzzy Slippers Ball. We hope that tonight that you've seen not only the challenges that children face, but more importantly, you've seen the joy that they experience when we all come together to make a difference. So good night, and I'll give the last word to our staff and children. Thank you.
So let's play. Leave tomorrow there to waste. Let's play. There's enough for us today.
谢谢 ，Thank you，谢谢。